Hey folks, today I'm going to be doing a quick TLDR on the most recent dev talk featuring GHAZZY with Mike and Carve. So the first thing, really big change, is they talked a lot about the health versus ward. Coming in 1.2, there's going to be some big changes, a lot of health buffs, and also ward nerfs. So specifically, we don't have all of the details there, but what we do know is that there's going to be pretty big nerfs to ward retention. One example they gave was the ward retention scaling for int is going from 4% down to 2%. This is actually a really big deal for int stackers. Any int stacking build can potentially end up with over 800% ward retention. Losing something like 400, that's going to be a really, really big deal for like end game int stacking min-max builds. So you're probably going to need to find other ways to get ward retention, or maybe you're going to need to focus more into hybrid or something like that. But yeah, the ward retention is a really, really big change. Another thing specifically is they're trying to move some of the ward stuff more into items from passives and skills where it is now. Like there's a lot of skills in the game that give you crazy amount of ward for free, and also a lot of really strong passives. I'm guessing they're talking about stuff like lost knowledge and all that. So yeah, they're going to be trying to move that more towards itemization. So that's going to be like affixes and stuff like that, which they talked about quite a bit. And then on to the health specifically, there's going to be a lot of changes to health affixes, some buffs there. The idols, like the double health idol, there's also going to be some pretty big regen buffs. However, they did specify there will be a Vessel of Strife nerf, because that's kind of a strong ward thing with the whole regen, but you might be able to do some more health-based regen stuff. They did also say that they will be increasing the per life health that you get from 8 to 10. Another really exciting thing that we're seeing in 1.2 is going to be big DOT reduction. So monsters do a lot of damage over time. That's been known for a while. You don't really have great ways to mitigate it. Their solution is the reducing the dot damage. I believe they said by 15% across the board. And then we're also seeing a additional DOT scaling nerf with corruption. It's going to be halved. So all of the extra damage scaling that you get with corruption for DOTs, that will be half. A big part of this talk ended up being around Sentinel. So we did see some electrify buffs and a lot of really cool stuff. And we also saw a new node for Electrify. We're getting more lightning damage over time per multi, and a lot of other stuff supporting Electrify that we still haven't seen. We also saw some pretty significant changes to Time Rot. There's going to be a lot of buffs to the scaling. We did also see one really cool node, and they did clarify that these are going to be 3 separate more multipliers, so these are all going to be multiplicative with each other. So a lot of really cool stuff with that. They then went on to talk a little bit about woven echoes. They said that they were trying to avoid them feeling like the PoE2 towers or other stuff like that, where there's a huge amount of prep. They want it to be very just hop in and play. And yeah, that sounds pretty good. They also touched a little bit on boss ward. So boss ward is going to be removed from a lot of places. So you're going to have a lot less headaches dealing with that. They seem to imply that it's going to be more focused towards like very specific fights or very special fights, and not just being on everything, even some like monsters in regular echoes having them. They touched on some pretty significant buffs to making alts. So one of these things is you're going to be able to basically skip normal monos and go straight to empowered. So you can just go right into the level 90 mono. When you do it, boom, there you are in empowered with your character. So if your character is strong enough, you can probably jump to empowered at a pretty low level with that. I believe this was already touched on before, but they also mentioned that there is a special woven echo where you can take an alt straight to the highest corruption of any character with a shared stash. So if you have your main that's at 1000 corruption, you have your alt, you do this special echo, and then now that alt is at 1000 corruption. We then had Carve share his screen for a bit where he showed a bunch of really cool stuff. Volatile reversal, there's a lot of really cool stuff around that. It seems like the skill is going to still have a lot of utility. One of the things I like best that they showed here is you'll actually be able to spec it so that it doesn't send you back. So you can just use it as like a pure traversal without any of that snapping back to previous location thing. So a lot of cool stuff around that. And there will also be some synergies with the Devouring Orb. So he also showed a bunch of Devouring Orb stuff. You'll be able to pop more orbs out of a Devouring Orb, and you'll even be able to pull those orbs around with Volatile Reversal. So there's some of that synergy, some combo stuff there that seems like it could be really good. Maybe you can stack up like a crazy number of Devouring Orbs on a boss and just like smack them with a huge amount of shotgunning or something. So yeah, that could be pretty cool. We also saw Symbols of Hope, which is a change from Sigils of Hope. So they're going to be auto casting now by default, and then you're going to activate just to consume them and get the buff. He also touched a little bit on Javelin, Judgment, Shield Throw, some changes there. Just definitely check out the full video. I'm not going to be able to touch on everything here. And we also got a demo of Heartseeker. So Heartseeker's looking pretty cool. Yeah, check out the full video for that. As far as prophecies, we have learned that there will be a prophecy for the Weaving Rune, however, not for Havoc or Redemption. So no prophecies for the most exciting ones, but Carve did imply there will be more runes for COF. When talking about targeting, Carve also mentioned a new lens, so there's a few ideas of what that could imply, but either way, it should be pretty exciting with some of the changes to prophecies they've vaguely hinted at. So yeah, looking forward to that. And then finally, they shared a little bit of details on Uberoth. The part that you unlock it is going to be around 500 corruption. However, they said that it's probably going to be having difficulty that feels much further beyond 500 corruption. And the unlocking or the access to Uberoth will have something to do with regular Aberoth. So we'll have to see what that means. But yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a cool progression that after Aberoth, you go do your Uberoth, probably get smashed, but then, eventually we'll get it down, and yeah, that should be a lot of fun. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have for today. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Cheers.